Love. Love. The one thing that makes the world go round, or so they say. Love has inspired poets, musicians, and filmmakers for centuries, turning it into the ultimate source of joy, misery, and awkward text messages. But as much as we romanticize love, let's not pretend it's all roses and candlelight dinners. Love can be a mess. It's the thing that makes people do irrational things, like drive across town at 3 a.m. because someone needs emotional support fries. So sit back, grab a snack, preferably fries, and let's dive into everything wrong with love, because even Cupid has terrible aim sometimes. Sorry to interrupt, but subscribing is like saying I love you to great content, and we love you back. Thanks. The myth of the one. Let's start with the biggest lie love ever sold us. The idea of the one. You know, the person who's supposedly tailor-made for you by the universe. The person you're supposed to lock eyes with across a crowded room and instantly know, this is it. Spoiler alert, no, it's not. Life isn't a romantic comedy where you trip over your feet and fall into the arms of the love of your life at the local grocery store. If you think about it, the one idea is kind of ridiculous. There are over 7 billion people on Earth, and yet we're supposed to believe that there's exactly one person out there for each of us? That's some serious mathematical pressure. You'd better hope the one isn't living in a remote village in the Himalayas, or you might be single forever. What's worse is that this myth leads people to discard perfectly good relationships because they're holding out for that lightning bolt moment of true love. Spoiler, you probably won't feel a lightning bolt. You'll feel more like a comfortable shrug, and that's okay. The awkward first date. Now let's talk about first dates. Oh yes, the beautiful train wreck of awkward silences, forced laughter, and questionable food choices. Love's way of saying, let's see how uncomfortable I can make you in 90 minutes. First dates are a nightmare of logistics. Do you shake hands, hug, a kiss? And God forbid the date turns into a meal. Who decided that eating in front of a complete stranger was a good idea? Now you're stuck trying to look cute while slurping spaghetti like you're auditioning for Lady and the Tramp. And then there's the minefield of small talk. Nobody likes small talk, but somehow it becomes the primary form of communication on first dates. So what do you do for work? The most uninspired question in the history of human interaction. What are you supposed to answer? I'm emotionally spiraling while I make passive-aggressive PowerPoint presentations? Yeah, probably not. First dates are love's awkward way of testing how much discomfort you're willing to endure for a shot at something more. It's like an emotional obstacle course, but instead of winning a trophy, you just get to decide whether or not to delete their number. Falling in love. Here's the thing about falling in love. It's often described as this magical butterfly in the stomach kind of experience. But let's be real, most of the time, falling in love feels less like butterflies and more like full-blown anxiety. You're overthinking everything. Did I text back too soon? Too late? Are they as into me as I am into them? Should I pretend to like that obscure indie band they mentioned, or is that too much? You might feel excited, but that excitement is usually mixed with a heavy dose of dread. Because while you're enjoying the thrill of a new romance, you're also waiting for the other shoe to drop. At any moment, they could decide they're just not feeling it, and suddenly you're back at square one, eating ice cream out of the carton and listening to Adele on repeat. And don't even get me started on the falling part. The phrase falling in love makes it sound accidental, like you tripped on a banana peel and tumbled headfirst into someone's heart. In reality, it's more like you're walking on a tightrope, balancing between joy and heartbreak, hoping you don't faceplant on the emotional pavement below. The social media. Social media has managed to make love even more insufferable. Welcome to the era of public displays of affection, not in person, but on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It's not enough to love someone privately. Now, you have to plaster it all over the internet for everyone to see. Couples who post pictures with captions like, "I love you to the moon and back, baby," We get it. You're in love, but do you need to remind us every 2 hours? And can we talk about the couples who post pictures of themselves kissing with the hashtag blessed? It's like, cool, I'm glad you're happy. But I came here for dog memes, not a visual reminder of my singleness. The worst offenders are the couples who insist on having shared social media accounts. Nothing screams we've merged into one person more than a joint Instagram account. It's like they've fused into some kind of relationship Voltron. Cute? Maybe. Annoying? Absolutely. The truth is, love on social media is often more performative than genuine. It's less about sharing your happiness and more about curating it. Making sure everyone knows your hashtag couple goals, even if you're arguing over whose turn it is to take out the trash right after you post that lovey-dovey selfie. The L word. Saying I love you for the first time is like stepping onto an emotional minefield. You know you're supposed to say it eventually, but when? Too soon, and you risk coming across as overly intense. Too late, and you might end up in the dreaded "what are we" conversation. The lead up to dropping the L-bomb is its own kind of torture. You start analyzing every single interaction. They bought me coffee. Does that mean they love me? Should I say it now? Meanwhile, your brain is having a meltdown. What if they don't say it back? The stakes couldn't be higher. In fact, they might as well be playing that suspenseful music from horror movies every time you think about saying it. And once you do say it, you're still not off the hook. You have to deal with the aftermath. What if their response is just a smile? Nothing more awkward than throwing out a heartfelt "I love you" and getting back a "thanks, that's so sweet." Ouch! It's enough to make you swear off love forever, or at least until your next date with emotional uncertainty. Love's breaking point. For every high in love, there's an equally dramatic low. The "we need to talk" conversation. You know the one. It's the moment when your partner sits you down with that look on their face and you instantly start panicking. Did I do something wrong? Are they breaking up with me? Is it about my habit of leaving socks everywhere? The "we need to talk" conversation is love's version of an audit. It forces you to confront everything you've been pretending isn't a problem. And let's be honest, nothing good ever follows that phrase. It's like the relationship equivalent of your boss calling you into their office without telling you why. Even if it's not the end of the relationship, it's almost always a turning point where you realize that love isn't just about butterflies and hand-holding. It's also about compromise, difficult conversations, and owning up to the fact that maybe, just maybe, you're not perfect. Long-distance relationships. If you've ever been in a long-distance relationship, you know that love at a distance isn't quite the fairy tale it's made out to be. Long-distance relationships are like regular relationships, but with a side of constant longing, terrible Wi-Fi connections, and airport goodbyes that feel like they belong in a sad indie film. Sure, technology helps, video calls, texts, memes to bridge the emotional gap, but it's not the same as actually being together. Time zones become your enemy, and you quickly realize that planning a Skype date isn't nearly as exciting as going out for dinner together. And don't even get me started on the pressure to make every visit perfect. When you finally see each other, it's like the relationship is on a fast track. Must have fun, must be romantic, must not argue about anything, because you only have a limited amount of time before one of you has to catch a flight. The reality of long-distance love is just hard work. But the romanticized version in movies where everything magically works out? Yeah, that's a Hollywood fantasy. In real life, long-distance relationships are more like love in slow motion, with a side of frustration and a lot of "I miss you" texts. The proposal pressure. So you've made it past the awkward first dates, survived the "I love you" moment, and now you're thinking about popping the question. Easy, right? Wrong. Proposals have been ruined by social media and Pinterest, and the pressure to create the perfect proposal is insane. Gone are the days when you could just get down on one knee at a quiet restaurant. Now, you're expected to orchestrate a flash mob, hire a drone to capture the moment, and propose in front of a scenic waterfall at sunset. Oh, and make sure it's all Instagram worthy, because what's the point of proposing if you're not getting at least 500 likes? The truth is, proposals have become less about the actual love and more about the spectacle. It's not enough to just ask someone to marry you. You have to turn it into a viral moment. And honestly, when did love become a public performance? How about just a heartfelt conversation in the living room? No drone required. The honeymoon phase. The honeymoon phase. The time when love is pure, exciting, and perfect. You and your partner can do no wrong, and everything they do is adorable. They text you good morning. They leave their dirty socks on the floor. How quirky. But actually, the honeymoon phase is a trap. It tricks you into thinking love is going to be smooth sailing forever. It's love in its most delusional form, and we all fall for it. Sure, everything is great in the beginning because you haven't had to deal with real-life stuff yet. Bills? Nope. In-laws? Not a problem. It's all just spontaneous dates, and no, you hang up first phone calls. But then reality kicks in. You discover that your partner chews loudly, forgets to put the toilet seat down, and farts in bed. Suddenly, the honeymoon is over, and you're left with real love. The kind that requires patience, compromise, and occasionally biting your tongue when they start their 20-minute monologue on why they don't like pineapple on pizza. Love songs, why do they hurt so much? Here's another thing. Love songs. They either make you feel on top of the world or crush your soul into 1,000 pieces. There's no in between. When you're in love, love songs are like the soundtrack to your life. Every song on the radio feels like it was written specifically for you and your partner. But the moment things go south, it's like every love song is mocking you. Nothing makes a breakup worse than hearing that one song that used to be your song. Suddenly, you're crying in the car, wondering how a 3-minute pop ballad can perfectly capture the mess that is your love life. And let's not forget the love songs that are so idealistic, they're setting us up for failure. Songs like, I Will Always Love You. Okay, but will you really, Whitney? Love songs have a way of taking our emotions and amplifying them to ridiculous proportions. They make you believe in fairy tale romance one moment and leave you drowning in heartbreak the next. It's like emotional whiplash set to music. The unsolicited love advice. When you're in love, or when you're not, everyone suddenly becomes a relationship expert. Your friends, your family, your coworker who has never been in a relationship longer than 3 months. They all have advice. You should text less. You need to communicate more. Maybe you should play hard to get. Look, love is already confusing enough without a chorus of opinions from people who are just as clueless as you are. Yet, somehow, we've all been subjected to unsolicited love advice at some point in our lives. And here's the thing. Most of it is terrible advice. People love to give advice based on their own experiences, but love isn't one size fits all. What worked for Karen from accounting is probably not going to work for you. And no, playing hard to get won't magically fix your communication issues. The truth is, love is messy, unpredictable, and incredibly personal. So maybe let's all stop pretending we've got it figured out, okay? The breakup phase. And finally, we arrive at the inevitable breakup phase. Because, let's face it, not all loves last forever. Breakups are like emotional limbo, where you're stuck between relief and heartache, trying to figure out what the heck just happened. You start overanalyzing every moment of the relationship. Was it when I didn't laugh at their joke about the avocado toast? Should I have tried harder to care about their obsession with cryptocurrency? Breakups are exhausting. Suddenly, your brain is consumed with existential questions like, will I ever find love again? And what do I do with all these pictures of us at the pumpkin patch? You end up in that weird post-breakup fog where you can't decide whether to binge-watch rom-coms or delete every romantic song from your playlist. The hardest part? Trying to remember who you were before the relationship. Because love, for all its glory, tends to swallow you whole. And breaking free from it can feel like you're pulling yourself out of quicksand. Take it from me, you'll survive. But it's not pretty. Love is a battlefield. So there you have it. Everything wrong with love, from awkward first dates to confusing emotions, breakups, and unrealistic expectations, love is a battlefield. But we keep going back. Why? Because as messy and imperfect as it is, love is one of the few things that makes us feel alive. Sure, love can be frustrating, confusing, and downright painful at times, but it's also exhilarating, comforting, and worth the effort. Well, most of the time. So whether you're in love, out of love, or somewhere in between, don't sweat it. After all, love is complicated, but so is life. Just take it one awkward date at a time. That's it for now, folks. Tell me your love story in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and see you in the next video.